Get started. Meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. We have a long agenda. Hopefully it won't take us too long. So let's get started with first on the agenda is 44 to 46 Rhode Island Road. And I've got the notice somewhere here. This is an RDA. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, you'll be hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Paul E. Turner Corporation to determine whether the isolated wetland is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. Location of the project is 44 and 46 Rhode Island Road, map 60, block 7, lots 1K and L. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, March 10th at 7 p.m.
Good evening. For the record, now Zaga from Zenith Consulting Engineers. We're here, like the ad said, we're basically here before you for an RDA for this, what we believe as a non-jurisdictional isolated wetland. This property is located at 44 and 46 Rhode Island Road off of, actually right behind, it's part of, or was part of the Old State Hospital property. Those properties were Form 8 off, so some properties Form 8 off if everybody's aware, and two of these are what you see included here. There is a wetland designated right here. What you see here and what we've also provided in the packet for, as for your information, we've provided calculations to determine whether or not it was an isolated land subject to flooding, or ILSF. If it's an ILSF, then it is jurisdictional. It has a 100-foot buffer zone. If it is not, then it does not have a buffer zone. So what you see before you is we did an aerial overview, and this gray line here, this boundary, is the contributing watershed. So when you're determining whether or not an area is an ILSF or not, there's three different steps. You first have to determine if it's isolated. So does it have any outlets? Whether that be a pipe, could be a point where it overtops. This does. The next step, which is what we didn't even have to go past this step. Actually, I'm sorry. No, the next step is can it hold up to 6 inches of water, and for an average volume of a 1/4 acre foot. Okay. In which it can. It's a fairly large area as far as volume goes. So the third step to determine whether it is or not, and all this information is provided in there, is to determine the watershed going to it. You apply a 1-year storm event, basically 2.7 inches of rain over a 24-hour storm. And you have to determine if that produces the 1/4 acre foot of volume that can contribute to it. The calculations that we've performed do not. It's not even close. We actually performed we even then at that point performed a 10-year storm event analysis, which is about 4.8 inches per hour, inches per 24-hour storm, excuse me. And that still didn't actually handle that flow, that volume. So it's our determination, and it's all included in that packet, that this is non-jurisdictional area. So we're basically before the commission tonight, asking for your blessing and requesting a negative determination. Be happy to answer any questions.
So it's 6 inches or a 1/4 acre foot.
That's correct.
Okay, it's got to be both. It can't just be one.
That's correct.
And it looks as though it is completely isolated on all sides. However, and as you know, I walked the site with Bob Forbes.
Yes.
And he showed me all the flags, at least those that were existing. The wetland itself is isolated, but it looks as though at some point in time it was interconnected with the other wetlands there, and it looks like there are man-made berms, pathways that may have blocked whatever hydraulic connection existed. I realize that doesn't change things, but it does look like part of it was man-made to get to the configuration it's at now.
Recently?
Oh, no, this is very old, probably when the hospital was operating.
Yeah, at that point, it would be considered what's called historic fill, and it would be it would still be something that would be exempt, from the protection.
Someone else?
Well, I have the old plans from the Lakeville Hospital when what we approved in the ANRAD years ago, which we're trying to see what the date is on it. But it shows them even back then as what we approved as them being isolated.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I should have brought,
No.
no?
No.
Bob, here.
The old one?
Like I say, we can't, the years on this too small.
That was the sidewalk that was reminiscent of the deepest, darkest jungle, remember that one?
The ORAD says August 12th, 2003, and it says the boundaries for isolated vegetated wetlands 2 and 3 are accurately drawn. So that's kind of what I was going off of.
Fire in your life.
This is what they're talking about, this
I had
little
every
triangle.
cutting implement I possessed
Yeah.
with me in the time we spent back there. Oh,
Yeah, I did it more than once, believe me.
I know you did.
And I did it again when Derek brought it.
So you're concurring with what he's saying?
Yeah.
do you have another plan that shows, any of the flags or the outline of the wetland?
I actually don't. I know that the filing for the comprehensive permit has been submitted to the commission as part of the comprehensive permit process.
We have that right here.
Yeah. So I did not bring it only because it was already submitted and it's not really part of this application, but if you
talking
need,
about this one right here, right?
that's correct. That's the
The sheet.
Oh, here we go. Oh, no, this is perfect.
Is that the old layout or is that the current?
That's the current, this is the current plan. It looks like the current set of plans.
Yeah, this is the current.
Yes.
So, whole flag.
This plan, the plan that you have in front of you is a plan that's in front of the zoning board of appeals currently under a comprehensive permit.
Ooh, what's that up there?
A question that maybe beside the point now. No garages involved here, huh?
But
That's
it's
correct.
flag numbers.
So everything sits outside.
That's
It
correct.
matches. What page is that?
All the gasoline and oil sits outside, different from the cars.
You got
I
the
looked at
same
that and I said,
map, I
there's
am?
no indication that there's any covered parking.
John's got it right
It's the
here.
second page.
I have one here. Right?
Yep. Yes, this little parcel right here that they're talking about.
And that's
Did you see it?
actually another piece of land, right?
Right.
You're talking about this
So it's just this
little
little
piece of the
piece.
wetland.
Yep.
That's sticking out onto the property. That's the rest of it there.
Yeah, only a little piece of it's on your
Yeah.
land.
That's correct.
The rest is on Derek's.
So it's this.
Yeah.
I pulled it out because it was colorful.
And you're going to the, did you say planning board again?
No, that's to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
Yes.
When? This-
I believe it is the 19th, which is next Thursday,
Okay.
potentially.
I don't have my schedule with me. And it's specifically to address what issues?
The zoning board of appeals.
Yeah.
Uh,
What
so,
do they?
so it's where filing what's called a comprehensive permit. That's the process is to go. For us to go in front of the zoning board of appeals, we need sign off from the conservation commission, board of health. The planning board's not applicable in this situation. So basically, it's board of health and conservation.
Okay. And the others are all waiting for us to have our turn before they vote?
No, so we have not filed, any, definitive plans for septic systems at this point. All those would be outside the 100-foot actually, well, again, there's no
Yeah, we're
100-foot
not
buffer.
gonna, right.
But basically, the zoning board of appeals would like to have, the more letters we have in front of them, the easier it is for them to make their decision. It's just like any other special permit that you see that comes in front of you for with the zoning board of appeals application. They would like to see, your determination made.
And even if it wasn't non-jurisdictional, we'd be only looking at one unit as a whole, rather than individual ones.
That's
As a
correct.
Condominium.
That's correct.
Okay. Just make that clear for everybody. So, other questions?
Did you bring an RDA for us to sign?
Yes, I did.
Can I look at it?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think, is it number 3? I'm just trying to figure how to make the motion. And I didn't bring my cheat sheet with me. Okay, I think it's number 1. The area described in the request is not an area subject to protection under the Act or the buffer zone.
Sounds right.
Alright, so I make a motion that we issue a negative determination 1.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Well, you've got it over there. Nancy, why don't you sign it? Pass it around.
Okay.
Cranberry?
Cranberry, yeah. Let's do the easy ones first. So you can warm up to the NOI. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have an ANRAD. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation by Paul Vernal to confirm the wetland resource areas located on the subject properties. Location of the project is 2 Cranberry Lane, map 21, block 6, lot 3D, and 21 North Precinct Street, map 20, block 2, lot 10. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Hello again.
Good evening. For the record again, Niall Zager from Zenith Consulting Engineers. Before you with an ANRAD, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. The areas are depicted on this plan. I've highlighted them in yellow. We have a series wetland flags A1 through A12. And we are also looking for approval of wetland flags B18 through B35. The line before you was flagged by Steve Schmiel from Hydric Solutions, and they were field located by my office, Zenith Consulting Engineers. Basically, what my client's looking to do is to confirm the line. He'd like to possibly get another lot out of the property between the one on Cranberry and the one on 21 North Precinct. So that's essentially why we're here. Is just to get just to confirm this line before we go in front of the planning board for any further work. And obviously, if there's any work that's done down the line, as far as construction, there would be another filing that would be, that would be submitted to the commission. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, first off, it's my understanding that when you look at the top part of the plan there, that's only a paper road.
That's correct.
And it shows the wetland line as being semi-continuous on the other side. So obviously there's wetlands in that area between that and precinct.
Correct.
So that's not part of the submittal?
That's correct. The only part of the submittal is here and here. There's
So
there's no additional wetlands anywhere on the property.
So what's the property line?
The property line is, this is to Cranberry. Here.
Okay.
And then 21 North Precinct here.
So if you were to develop those two lots, where would the access be? Without having to do a crossing,
The frontage would come off of Cranberry here.
not precinct?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And the other one?
So there's actually a house on this property.
Yeah, 21, it's 19 and 21, but they're much further up the road.
Correct. So there's the existing house here.
Yeah.
There'd be a new property somewhere in here
Mm-hmm.
where we would put the house somewhere up in the front.
All right.
Off of Cranberry.
Off of Cranberry.
Cranberry.
So it would have sufficient amount of frontage and area. Again, that's a plan that we would be submitting in front of the planning board under the approval not required or Form A process.
Okay. I didn't have any problem with the flags, so that was okay. I was just concerned about some of the boundaries. It doesn't look like where the circle is between it and the drainage easement, that there was enough frontage there. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, there is actually enough. We've basically what we did was we created the Form A plan and we advised our client to have the line approved before because it was tight. There's not a lot. As you can tell, there's not a lot of room for upland area, but there is enough to meet the zoning requirement is 52,500
Contiguous.
of contiguous. That's correct, which we have. So that's why the wetland line was so crucial in this situation.
And all we're approving is a wetland.
Right.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well,
Can you walk it?
yep, just the other day. Flags were pretty easy to follow, although I found that in addition to being a little confused about the paper road, the stone wall that's shown there
It-
doesn't seem to agree with what's on the map.
This one all right here.
Yeah.
That was surveyed in with what's there.
Uh-huh.
So.
Well, maybe it's just me.
The wetland scientist even had a hard time out here. As you can see, he actually went way off the property.
Yeah.
Just not, it's a little confusing out there, but
That's another reason why I was asking you in the beginning about what's in between precinct and the road. Anyone else?
Niles,
yes.
you wanna tell me what flags you're looking for approval on the, just tell me again so I can make the motion.
Of course. So it'll be wetlands flag. So on the A series, wetland flag, A1 through A9.
Yeah.
And A11 and A12.
Okay,
And then the B series will be wetland flag, B18 through B35.
35.
Yes, sorry. My eyes are so bad.
okay, so I make a motion that anybody else have anything?
Well, I think so.
Okay, I make a motion that we close the hearing and issue an ORAD that approves wetland flags A1 through A9, A11 and A12, and B18 through B35.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Be so kind.
It's silly that you have to send a butters notices to the applicant.
Yes.
Sir.
Got a road in the driveway.
What?
Got a road in the driveway.
You could land an airplane
Okay.
on that road.
Look what we'll pay.
Straight. Flat. It'd be perfect. Might be a little short, but,
That's all I need.
oh, it's there, yeah. Yeah, this is here. This is here.
Oh,
There's a house. House over there.
from none of this stuff.
No, not yet. All right, let's move on. Next on the agenda, an NOI for 2 Equestrian Way. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent by Mallet Construction, Inc. to construct a residential dwelling with associated well, septic system, grading, driveway, and utilities within the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Location of the project is 2 Equestrian Way, Lakeville, map 4, block 4, lot 3F. A public hearing will be held on Tuesday, March 10th at 7 p.m.
Good evening. Third and final time for the record now, Zaga from Zenith Consulting Engineers. What you have before you is an NOI for a property we're looking to construct a single-family home on. This was actually in front of the commission back about a year or 2 ago, I forget exactly, and it was issued an order of conditions for the subdivision of land on what is known as Equestrian Way. So the boundary that you see in front of you is an approved wetland line under that order of conditions. And I believe actually a lot of that roadway construction has already been completed. So basically what we're looking to do is, if you see here, the pink line is the 50-foot buffer. The yellow highlighted line here is the 100-foot buffer. So the only work within the buffer zone is a small portion of the garage, the driveway, and landscaping and grading. So it overall it's a minimal amount of work within that buffer zone. If you look at the plan, you think there's a lot, but again, this was already all approved. So even the septic system is pretty much all outside of it. We have also provided roof drains on the roof gutters to provide some recharge. That was something that we had proposed in our subdivision submittal and proposal. So that's implemented on these plans as well. Other than that, these plans have been submitted to the Board of Health. I believe the Board of Health has approved them contingent upon us digging a deep hole inside the septic system. They just want to do it, which is typical whenever we do the construction. We do an open hole inspection to confirm the soils and water table are accurate. So other than that, be happy to answer any questions.
comments, anyone? Nancy?
So all these drainage easements and everything are in?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
Yes.
They are all in? And what's that? That looks like a toilet seat.
I could say something, but
I don't know what it is.
totally inappropriate. Way up in the left-hand upper corner,
Yeah.
that
What is that?
oval shape.
What is that thing?
So that's actually a culvert that goes across the road. So this is a low area on the property. So there's a culvert that goes across the road. So that's basically like
Oh, okay. I didn't see
a
that.
splash pool where the water
Gotcha.
drains to and gets to the culvert and then goes off into the wetland. It's basically so we're not damming
So it's
up.
flowing this way?
That's correct. It's flowing
Okay.
towards the wetland.
Okay.
That's correct. It's just a way to try getting the water so it doesn't dam up because of the raising of the road. And again, that was all part of that. That was all part of the original approval. So the only new work is really the association of the house with the grading and the driveway and utilities. All the other work has already been approved under a separate order.
The building that was there, and I realize it's outside the area, but that's gone.
That's
And the Jersey barriers that seem to be everywhere and have pretty much been removed.
That's correct. It would be nice to get it cleaned up.
Yeah, it looks, what a difference, I couldn't believe.
Oh, absolutely.
What a change from before.
All right, so I make a motion that we close the hearing and issue an order of conditions with all of our standard conditions.
Okay. Second?
I'll second. Can I ask a question though?
Sure.
Do you have the silt fence marked on there?
So the silt fence is actually installed
other side.
already because it's
Oh,
across
okay.
the road.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I should have stated that. The wetland is actually on the opposite side of the road.
Right.
So realistically, right now, the road, but there is silt fence up there currently.
All right.
And
Is it
I-
marked on here? No?
I believe so. Yes, see this dashed
Yeah.
line right here?
Oh, yeah,
That's
silt
full
sock. Okay.
It's actually silt socket.
All right, my mistake. I didn't
No,
see it.
no, that's okay, it's a good
I
question.
saw the insert here, but
It's a good question.
Actually, I talked to somebody from Pierce Avenue today, and they said that that is kind of like raised up a little bit, so it would keep actually that all back. It's not like that's going to jump across the road.
That's correct. That's correct.
yeah, it's a foot lower than that.
This is the one that's interesting because it flows two directions. It turns around and goes back the other way.
We have a motion in a second.
I don't know if there's some discussion anymore. Are you good? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
You can leave now.
You want this one?
Let's be different. We'll start it this way. Isn't it? Holy.
Good luck.
Very challenging.
Good night.
If you notice on all these forms, no two seem to be alike. They constantly change them. And should I forget, remind me, I've got another set of signatures I need later to replace. place when it was lost. All right, well, we're fine. Let's take care of this. Next on the agenda is 14 Betty's Neck. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, of the Wetlands Protection Act, Legal Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on March 10th at 7 p.m. at the Lakeville Police Station on a notice of intent. The applicant, Anthony Zucco, is proposing the construction of a single-family dwelling with attached garage, a subsurface sewage disposal system, a driveway, and associated grading and utilities. The project is located at 14 Betty's Neck Road. It is also identified as Assessor's Map 65, Block 4, Lot 47.
Have your butter closes there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
As you get past, we filed the notice, we included the actual million receipts.
Okay,
And this is the copy we had.
okay, so that is one of those.
Yeah? Yeah, that's right here.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Azua Chinero. I am a registered professional engineer and a registered professional land surveyor in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Here representing my firm, ET Engineering of 481 Bedford Street in Bridgewater, right up the street on 18. Here with me is the young man that owns the property, Anthony Zucco. His office, we listed his address as 165 West Circle. That's where he does his electric business. But he lives right here in Lakeville. And what we have before you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, is a property right on identified as 14 Betty's Neck Road. That is about 8 acres total. Contains over 5 acres of contiguous upland. Tony, even though he lives in town, found his property and it serves his purpose. He's trying to get married, and I don't know what he wants to do that for, but so setting up a single family dwelling. Ken Thompson, who is a wetland scientist, he has a master's degree in biology from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and also has a degree in computer technology, so he understands GIS. He flagged the wetlands resources back in September, right through, I believe, October 2nd. So from September 19th through October 2nd. And then Andy Sargent and myself did a subsurface soil evaluation for the septic system. And it was witnessed by the Board of Health. And I believe when we did that, I contacted your office to let you know that we are not trying to create problems here, but we're just doing a wetlands soil testing for septic system. And so on the right on the west side of the property is Tammet Brook, which is tributary to the drinking water supply. And so the septic system by code, 310 CMR 15, is required to be 200 feet from any tributary to the water supply. And so that is the reason for the septic system being located here, even though the house is here. This site was mined for gravel. It's very, very sandy material. Natural Resource Conservation Service that does the national mapping identifies it as such, and we found it to be so. During the delineation in Mr. Thompson's report, he indicated that during a period of non-declared drought in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, he documented through site photography 4 different times that he was there that the brook wasn't flowing. Now, this USGS quadrant map shows it as solid blue line. And so in the design, we've treated it as a perennial stream, even though Mr. Thompson documented it to be otherwise, which meets the credible evidence required under 310 CMR 10.58. But anyway, be that as it may, we looked at that as a perennial stream and considered alternative uses in terms of alternative analysis. Obviously, residential development is allowed there, and the land contains more than 70,000 square feet, which is the minimum zoning for a single family. Anthony is not looking to do a subdivision, so if you were to do a subdivision, that would create more potential for groundwater pollution, and then the other alternative was, which is allowed, is farming. If you were to do a farming operation here, that will involve a lot more extensive land clearing, and also livestock. If you were to allow the use of farming operation, whether it be cattle raising or piggery or whatever, you will have more uncontrolled sources of pollution, like fertilizers, and those do not have to be treated. That will not naturally run off. So at the end of the day, whereas the property has existed by itself without being combined with any other property prior to 1948, right, to even zone it, it meets the statutory requirement of the Wetlands Protection Act vis-a-vis the land is the way it is since at least since 1948. It has not been created as part of a subdivision. We also before the Board of Health, and they wanted to have an input based on action by the CONCOM before they move forward with the septic system. The delineation is pretty obvious. The land features give away the resources very easy. And so we're proposing erosion control barrier around the project. And we are calling, because of the different activities that we're proposing, we are proposing either a hay bale butted up against silt fence. The hay bale will provide for the erosion control more or less, and then the black silt fence will provide a visual barrier because it's a little higher. And that's what we're proposing, and it's identified on the plan. It says on the legend, ECB, basically erosion control barrier. And that's about it. I'll entertain any comments or questions. So my wife told me I'm still learning. After 64 years, she says, try to be brief. So I'll shut up now.
Well said. You said earlier that the site was previously mined for sand and gravel.
There's evidences of that because of the way the topography. That is not your natural topography. Having these pit mound topography, and I think that's basically how this developed.
At what point in time? How far back would you say?
Oh, at least 30 years ago.
Really?
Given the maturity of the vegetation, the canopy that you have there will take at least 15 to 20 years to develop.
Yeah, because it looks like there are traces of some land use in there, old cart paths, and
Right.
some of which are obviously overgrown now, but obviously had been cleared at one time.
So and the other point, Anthony's hoping that he can get it's very hard to find well drillers these days.
Really?
Yeah. So they are like booked solids. So
Oh, because they're busy.
right.
All right.
So he's hoping that he can at least get that approved from the Board of Health to get the well drilling operation.
Yeah, well, I saw where you staked the location of
Yeah.
the well. was my understanding from the Board of Health, he was waiting until we did our
Exactly.
our assessment.
Exactly.
As of,
Yes, sir.
The whole house is.
two abutters don't have notices for?
Yeah, so that's probably those that I didn't claim this yet. Like this one here got returned after, so they might be.
But that one's already checked off. I have two here, Johnson and Bork.
Yeah.
Which are not in here.
They just haven't been returned, but if you look on the mailing,
Oh, yeah, I don't have the, you have the white.
well, yeah, we submitted those because they were required.
What was that with these?
We were told that we were supposed to submit those.
Mr. Chairman?
But I have a copy for my record.
Okay,
Okay.
so give
So,
me,
yeah.
find me
Here's
Johnson and Bork,
Johnson is right here.
okay?
Right? All the same date.
Yeah.
And Burke is right here.
Okay.
Instead of back here.
Want to make sure, because you don't want somebody to come back and
Yeah.
scare you to death, right?
Yep.
Here we
Well,
go.
that might be, sometimes they probably did what I normally do. If it's certified they are not doing it, but some of them might be looking for money.
Another question for you. Does this application include this proposed future garage building?
Yes, that's where he wants to store his equipment. He's an electrician.
Okay. As in Zuko Electric?
Yes,
Father,
Your father?
yeah.
I own East Coast generator. You said you have a East Electric.
Oh. You guys not from Stoughton, are you?
Tony is, yeah.
Tony Zuko.
Yep.
Your father?
Uh-huh.
Stoughton High School class of what year?
76 or
Yeah.
7? Maybe 7. My mother's 78, so I think 76.
One of my former students. That's what I thought, yeah?
Yep. That's all.
Was he a good student?
Don't remember.
Wow!
I remember two kinds. The ones you have to call the cops on and the real nice ones. So he was in between. Yeah, Zuko Electric. That company's been around a long time.
Yeah, since 85.
85?
Yeah, he started in 85.
Jeez, it seems like it's been around longer than that.
What is the purpose for the two large yellow areas designated as stockpile?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so.
There's a lot
so-
of dirt being moved around
No,
on this lot, no?
So if you look at the current trend in the MS4, they usually like to see an area that you can safely store material without getting it into the wetlands. So during construction, that would be the temporary areas that to show that we can manage our materials without getting into the wetlands area.
So obviously we're gonna have sedimentation barriers around that somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the three, I think, have retaining walls.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, when you say concrete block, do you mean you don't mean plain block, you mean decorative?
Right.
Of some kind, okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
You ready for
Yeah.
me? Last, probably? Okay, the house wasn't staked out, is that correct? Or was it? I couldn't tell where the house was.
We flagged there were the corners of the house because
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, then I just couldn't find it. But I'm gonna tell you, I was standing on flag number KT91. And that whole area right there, it looks like you have proposed 70, 72, 74, 74.
What number? KT what?
91.
KT 91.
Yep,
Where in the world is that?
it's in the big wetland area.
Right
By the retaining wall, Joe.
Wait, which retaining wall?
The proposed 4-foot high
Right,
cut.
yeah.
Right
Oh,
near the
okay,
house.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Okay,
it. Yep.
so now I'm standing there and going both ways back towards the retaining wall is totally flat, and then there's another berm in the back. And I stood there for the longest time, and of course there's no vegetation right now, but I for the life of me can't figure why he put that wetland line across that flat area like that when the vegetation looks the same all the way back.
Well, because if you look at the DEP data forms, they
I
have to-
did.
No, I'm saying if you look at it, he also did the source samples. So you have to have those three elements occurring.
Okay, I also looked at the wetland line around here, and I have to tell you, I just am not ready to vote on this. I would like to, and it's not something that we haven't done before, we've done it quite a bit, is walk these lines with Ken Thompson.
We can, okay.
That's all, and because it shouldn't be like a guessing game. I'd like him to explain to me how he did it, and do some more soil samples, especially that flat part. I just couldn't figure it out, and some of the flags along Tammet Brook too. I had some questions about some of the flags were hanging over the water, so I would just like to. It's pretty standard procedure.
I assume he did augering and
Yeah.
then did soil type.
Yeah, he put the data forms in there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I could do that with him. The other thing is the potential vernal pool on the back side over here. It's also kind of standard thing. I would like to see if that really is a vernal pool, that it be certified. That was right in your. It must have come off right off Natural Heritage map,
Yeah.
that that's a potential vernal pool site. So when they put that garage back there, it looks like they have plenty of room to stay 100 feet away from it. But
Right.
as
It's
part
a-
of our order of conditions, I personally would recommend that you have that certified so that you stay away from it. But it looks like you still have plenty of room to put the garage
The
there.
garage is not gonna go in now.
For- right.
I don't have any money to do
Right.
that yet, so.
Okay,
That's just one of those things, you put it on the plan, just to kind of put it on.
but it still looks like there's plenty of room for you to do it. But it is, it's very confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah, took a long time staring at the plans to just isolate everything.
They translate on to what's on site, right?
Yeah,
Right, and I still couldn't find the flags for the house that was out there.
yeah, I'd like to tag along with you.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
doing.
get in on that if we can schedule it.
Yeah, well, Bob could schedule it and
Yep.
we can
You guys are
go.
available.
With Ken Thompson, is that what you said? Ken
Yeah.
Thompson?
Oh, he'll be available when you want him. Yes, yeah. So, just in the interest of time, when
We can go anytime. We'll meet again in 2 weeks, so if he
When
can,
might you be available to meet out there? We will be out there when you're available to be out there. So it's a function of your
Anytime.
availability.
All right, who should I contact to set up a time?
You can call my office.
Okay,
Yes,
all right. So sometime, I don't know about this week, but maybe the beginning of next week?
that'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Any word of wisdom? In the past 3 days, I've had 2 ticks on me, and I got a mosquito bite today. So come prepared.
Oh, I already
They're
kept,
already out there.
we've had such a mild winter.
Yep. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
Since we're
Got it
talking
right
about
at the top of my
future
hand.
plans,
yeah, I was at the
is there,
clinic
do
today.
you envision a pool?
Tiny little
At
ticks.
any-
One down,
From
one up,
here.
the other round.
I had one on me the
I
other day.
carry,
Betty's
Oh,
neck.
okay.
I
I was just gonna advise you that if you thought
and then I wash
you
it off.
you'd be wanting one in the future, now would be the time to put it on the plan and just get it done once.
Yeah, we always say, put on the plan anything you want to do, because if you never end up building
Yeah.
it, no harm, no foul.
Don't feel obliged, don't have to.
So 2 weeks.
yeah, we could, yeah, I guess it couldn't hurt, I don't really want one, but she might,
People have been known to change their minds.
this is true.
And you don't want to box yourself in with the current location of the 2 buildings that are going to be in the property. You know, oh, now where do I put it, you know?
Give it some thought.
Awesome.
So anybody else go ahead and make a motion? No?
May I ask you a question? Is it possible to, just for the purposes of getting a well permit, is it possible, considering where we're proposing the well, and none of any of those concerns will actually affect what we're designing, is it possible to pass word to the Board of Health to at least give us a well permit? That you'll be okay with that? Just a well permit.
The well is actually, how close to the wetland? It's pretty close, I know, I think it's like 20, 30
And
feet.
you'd have to do that temporary construction road to get in the truck in, right?
You know, when they have
I'll
track
do this.
machines, so that would be able to
Yeah,
get it.
okay.
Yeah, well,
They'll give it a track machine.
we don't want you doing too much disturbance,
Oh, yeah,
without,
WPC.
without formal approval.
Oh, no, no, we wouldn't actually be doing the well before you approve it. It's just that they were at least,
Yeah.
You want to do the
and
application,
then,
Well,
right,
that
and then we'll be on the queue. We can't be on the queue with the well
Well,
drill now
mostly
if we
up
don't
here
even have
where I
a
have
permit.
some
That's, yeah,
how far are they backed up now?
3 months.
Really?
But then I
Yeah.
didn't follow it all the way down.
So he's not gonna be doing, I can guarantee you right now, it's not gonna be drilling in the next month. But at least, we're just doing that for a lot long.
All right, and in between now and when we have our next meeting, there should be no construction, no brush cutting, no tree cutting, no grading, anything like that?
No,
Okay,
no, not at all.
all right, so, back to our proposal,
Okay, so I make a motion to continue the hearing on 14 Betty's Neck Road to, March 24th, 2020, 7 PM.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we don't need signatures. And I will speak to the Board of Health about the permit.
Okay, thank you.
So, ask Dad, okay?
Chamberlain, I will.
So if I have to show you something, come here.
Ask him if he remembers him.
That's what I looked like then. Okay? So, he'll know,
Okay.
he'll know.
What'd you teach?
English,
English, okay.
top floor,
He
A
probably failed
building.
now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Pleasure to meet you guys, thank you so much.
Good night.
Oh,
See you in 2 weeks.
She's going faster than I thought. Yeah, with the sirens.
You want this too?
No, you can have that. We have that.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
No, it's probably just done, well, it's
Everybody
like
take
spring
cover.
already.
You have a fever?
I have some revised plans for you, so I don't know if I should wait for you to open it,
Yeah, well, just let me have them and I'll,
and we'll vote.
how many?
I have the standard, 8 small ones, 3 big ones.
Okay, we can manage. All right, so next on the agenda is a notice of intent. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent filed by Pro Group Contracting. Location of the project is 141 County Street, map 14, lot 5, block 11. Public hearing will be held on March 10th at 7 p.m. Good evening.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Tripp, and I am here on behalf of Pro Group Contracting. And so I actually, for those of you peeking at the plan, we revised the plan, and I talked to Bob today, and we figured it would probably be easier just to bring the plans tonight for you guys to look at. So sorry to spring on some revised plans to you guys.
No, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna distribute them, and we're gonna take a vote to accept.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, grab something
For this?
for this, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so we're not looking at this one then?
So, yeah, change it.
Yeah, so you can just forget about that.
All right, so should I make a motion?
Do I have a motion? Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the new plan for 141 County Street.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
How you doing?
Almost the other one.
Go ahead. we're all
All
set.
right, perfect. So, I'm gonna kind of walk us through some different parts. There's a lot going on, but the biggest reason that we're here and we came with this NOI was involving an enforcement order that was issued on 2/14/2020, and that was involving the demolition of the 2 silos that are on the property that is partially within the 100-foot buffer to the wetlands. And so the reasoning behind that is that was the week that we had a lot of rain, wind, stormy weather, and one of the silos was actually damaged. And because of that damage, the applicants felt as though it's a public safety hazard. They wanted to get it down as soon as possible. So they had gone to the building department in Lakeville and got a permit for a day of demolition. However, it kind of in the haste of making sure that it gets down safely, they didn't realize that they also had to go to conservation to get a similar emergency certificate, the same idea. So those were demolished without the appropriate Conservation Commission approval. And it's proposed that with this NOI, the foundations of the silos either be removed if possible, or they'll remain so as not to create more disturbance, and will loam and seed the area. So that way it's vegetated. So then moving on from that, now we've added a couple things in the interest of keeping everything in one plan and not having to go back for a couple of meetings, not having to go back for 4 NOIs. So basically what we've done is that there was once a driveway next to the existing 3-bedroom house. It's still there right now, but we're proposing to remove the driveway that's there. It's a paved driveway, so they're removing it. They want to loam and seed the area and then just leave a small portion of the paved driveway right by that front walkway to the front door of the house, and that's off Highland. So moving from that, the applicants have also decided that they would like the gravel driveway, 2 entrances, where one will actually be connecting to the barn. So if you guys do remember, it was pretty recently we had a negative determination on reconstruction of the barn. So as they were doing that process, they got down to the foundation and realized that it's really not something that can be kept, and it won't be usable to move on to a new barn that'll last and be structurally sound. So they're proposing that moving the foundation of the barn a little bit further out from the wetlands so that when rebuilding it won't be quite as close. And they are going to put a 24-by-24 garage inside of that barn as an area to park their cars and everything, with that small gravel access way coming off the county. And they are going to go to DOT and get permission, get the curb cuts, etc. And going off of that on the other side, they're proposing a gravel drive around the other end, mostly for, it's widened towards the wetland just to keep a lot of room for turnaround and such, and as well as the back area, there's a gravel access path. And really the reason for that is just to make sure the area stays cleared in case anything needs to get back there.
It's like fire trucks.
Yeah, they want it just as safe as possible. And let's see, we have a silt fence in place now from the RDA, but we are going to beef that up with some hay bales, and I believe that those have been put in. And let's see, we also have with the barn, we're proposing just to tie in septic just for a small barn bathroom, as far as not having to go inside when you're out working, and it's just for its convenience, but also to kind of keep it so that all work can be kept outside. So they are proposing just to tie in septic. So there's a new septic. The leaching field is remaining, so they're gonna feed off of that, and it won't have an increase in flow or anything of the sort. And last but not least, there is some water service that will be required for that bathroom area. And finishing touches are some grading, especially around the barn, to slope the water away from the foundation, as well as some fencing and then some loaming and seeding of disturbed soils and the likes. And we do have, similar to the RDA, we have an area right outside the barn that is proposed for stockpile, anything like that for construction, but after the fact will be loamed and seeded. And I think that covers just about all of the different pieces on this plan. And I would love to take any questions from the commission. I do also have the applicants here who might be able to assist with some more questions if I'm not able to help you out with them. So I know it's a lot on here.
Are there any changes to the property line?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
see that
Yep.
over here.
Yeah. So actually, and this was from the beginning why they had actually wanted to keep the silos and had put the property line around the silos to incorporate it onto the other property. So it was really their intention from the beginning to keep them. They thought they were cool, and they're really neat. However, when it came down to it, safety trumps cool things. So they're in the process of doing a new property line, just making it a straight across.
I noticed today when I drove by that you're starting to pour cement for the footings.
Haven't poured yet. I believe they're gonna pour. Oh, did they pour today? Oh, good.
Questions, anyone?
Well, maybe a statement. You got a
Yeah.
question, John? You go first.
No, I mean, this was originally sold as you were gonna keep the foundation of the barn, you weren't doing any excavation in the area. Now you're excavating and putting a whole new foundation in. So, that's
Right.
just a comment.
Yeah, my comment, kind of similar, is that it's already kind of pushing it. I know that Bob said that the proposed barn is a little further away from the wetland on that one corner, but now you're pushing it with the, I like the old plan better, because now you're pushing it with the driveway that's coming within 19 feet of the wetland on the other side. That's a change from this plan to the one you just gave us. I mean, this is the one I was okay with.
Yeah.
I'm not as crazy about this one, because you've added all that on there, and now you're working, even though it was there before, so you're lucky with that corner of the barn, but now you're kind of pushing it with bringing that gravel drive around. And on the plan where it shows the detail of the silt fence and the hay bales, it says stake hay bales end to end or 12-inch straw wattles. I'd like you to take that or 12-inch straw wattles out of there. And the hay bales would be better, seeing as you so.
Yeah.
They're all in place.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
on the plan, so you could do it, but.
Yeah, no, I
no.
think that was part of our, I believe that was done in the field now, and I think that on the detail, the or is kind of an oversight as far as taking that out and making it with straw wattles. So, so that it will be with the straw wattles as well.
They did a nice job with the hay bales and repairing the silt fence that was probably damaged.
It does make it better when the silt fence is doing its job.
So
So you already saw it, Bob?
oh yeah,
Okay, and it looks good?
I've been out there a couple of times. Yeah,
Okay.
they called me right after they finished. I went out and walked it, and it's pretty muddy, but
Yeah. A lot of things are pretty muddy right now.
The hay bales are really tight. The fence is dug in. I didn't see any gaps anywhere, so I was satisfied. So at one time, I guess you considered eliminating the driveways on Highland altogether, right? Because of
Yes.
the traffic and.
I believe that was what I had understood, that it was just too difficult to use it as a regular access way, which is why this smaller one, I believe, is proposed here to be with a garage to be more of a regular use.
But you're not abandoning it. You're still going to maintain a gravel drive. Actually, two. One
Yes.
here and one next to the house.
Yeah, so the paved driveway went pretty much up to the barn before, if not connected to the barn, if I'm
Right.
remembering correctly. So in replacement of the paved spots, they're proposing gravel areas, with exception of that one little spot that's going to remain right on Highland.
And why does that piece need to curve, that huge piece need to curve all the way around the back of the barn?
From what I understand, it was for turnaround access. I'm not sure if there's any more information on that as far as what you guys. Yeah, just
Well, if you get a
To have
vehicle
that
of any
room.
size, you need the room to turn around. I mean, it's not as big as you might think if you're in there with any kind of a trailer.
Yeah, the small piece of driveway that I'm leaving right by the house, probably, we're gonna pull up that pavement, put gravel there as well. I'm leaving that there just so if I need access to the backyard, because that becomes the backyard of the house.
yeah,
It's sort of
exactly. The
and-
center of the property, but essentially the backyard.
Right, it
Yeah.
becomes sort of the backyard now, because the house really it's County Street address.
Yep.
So it becomes a backyard now, and I wanted to leave that little drive there just in case I needed access to the back. I could use the longer one,
Yep.
but my septic tank is gonna get pumped every year and it sits right there.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to have that gravel driveway there,
Ready
so
to.
that it's right by the tank.
Yep.
I mean, if I need to eliminate it, I can, but that was really the sense of it. Once I noticed obviously I know the tank is there.
Yeah.
And so let's just leave a
How
little
close
path
it
there
is.
so they can pump that thing
Yeah.
when they need to. But if that needs to go, it can go. It just makes it a little bit tougher to get in there. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And the remains of the silo, I know there's still a little bit of the base that's left. And you're gonna break it up and bury it in place or take it off site?
The plan was to break it up and bury it as part of this work on site, except for the stones. My dad wants the stones.
Oh.
So those are gonna get piled up. He's a mason, so he did
Okay.
all the stone work there at my house. And they're small too, they're nice. Not like the ones on the wall, in fact, those too big to handle. The small ones he wants, so they'll be piled somewhere there.
So you're gonna have to bring some fill in to restore it to the grade.
I would think so.
Yeah. I would ask, and this is already part of our order of conditions anyway, but if there are any changes to this plan, especially
Yes.
burial of any material, relocation of the roads, if you have second thoughts about it, to let us know. And then what's it's really not necessary. Anyone else have any additional
Need one more
questions?
thing, sorry, I can't
No,
give it up.
go right ahead.
What's gonna, delineate the gravel drive, the edge of that gravel drive? I guess I'd feel better about it if it's just flat and you're gonna loam and seed
Yeah.
between there and the wetland. Because once the hay bale line's gone, the wetland's right there. Is there gonna be any kind of an edge or anything on the gravel drive?
Berm, you mean?
The berm?
Yeah, we could, if you're open to it, we could do some sort of either like a berm, or I don't know how you feel about like a post and rail fence or something to demarcate that the wetlands are there.
Yeah, you got a posted rail fence running quite a ways here anyway. Is that to like keep animals in, dogs or something like that, or keep kids in or what?
In the backyard area?
Yeah, your backyard
Yeah,
area.
it's just to give privacy. We're
Yeah.
talking about the piece that you're
Yeah,
referring to.
that
back.
wasn't, yeah, in the
Yeah,
back
and
of the
that-
barn, yeah,
right by
just
the
a
barn.
berm, like from the end around the,
We could do that, or we can draw in if it's easy. We can do a curb there, or I could put in a few sections of fence, right at the,
doesn't really have to be
fence.
fenced, just something
Just
that
something.
demarks that area,
You
I'd
could even
feel
do some
better about it.
plantings.
Yeah,
Hey, you can build a stone wall.
That would be all right.
yeah. There you go.
Huh? Yeah,
Nice
I
stone
found
wall.
something to do, make another stone wall. Plantings would be fine too,
All right.
certainly.
Well, when-
That's
when
not-
you-
Yeah, that would be good,
I don't have an issue with that.
I like,
okay.
so once you finalize that, just let us know. that You've made that decision.
You wanna draw those in on drawing somewhere?
Yeah,
And we'll put some plantings right along that back side of that driveway there.
That would be great.
yeah,
I
Okay.
don't have a problem with that at all. Probably look pretty good.
yeah. So it,
Yeah, give you a little privacy as well as protection for the wetlands.
Yeah.
And make a good indicator of the edge, so, good. Any
Anything else? No? All right, do I hear a motion then?
I make a motion that we close the hearing and issue an order of conditions with our standard conditions, and to also include that we will receive, I don't think we need a whole bunch of big ones, do we, Bob?
No.
Plans that show some plantings along that
Yeah,
proposed
two-
gravel
Yeah.
drive behind the
Will
barn,
do. Perfect, yeah, that can definitely be done.
and our standard order of conditions. Yeah, I'm sorry, you know what, so you look at one set of plans and then somebody shows up with a different set of plans, and
I know.
that's why we have to vote to even look at them.
I know, I appreciate it.
I'll
So-
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Rick? Yeah,
Okay.
this one, the one county one. Notices? Notices for 141 county
Oh, okay.
to go with the filing.
The signature page.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks for coming.
So I guess Mark
Good
is
night.
not making it, huh? He's a hurting puppy.
Yes, sort of like.
Been a long time since I've had a sore throat. I don't remember them with fondness, I'll tell you.
Thank you, sir. So, go the other way.
Oh, this isn't too bad. At least a killer meeting at that one, I will be
Yeah.
here till, in the old days, huh, Joe? We here till midnight.
Yeah. Those are the good old days.
I used to get really cranky. I don't make good decisions after 11 o'clock.
After 10.
Oh, after 10, okay.
Yeah. Boy, things used to go. The only good thing is, after that point in time, things started to go a lot faster.
Yeah.
There was less and less discussion.
If you wanna see cranky, you oughta volunteer to be a poll worker.
Oh,
As you
God.
get close to midnight and the numbers don't add up, people get
Ooh.
No
really
thanks.
cranky.
Okay, now some business to take care of. We have a certificate of compliance for 43 Baker Lane, which was part of a huge subdivision behind the schools. If you're off Holland, you're all familiar with it. The funny thing is, there was a order of conditions for the entire subdivision, but with all the lots that are there, only one has ever requested a certificate of compliance, and now we have a second one that's right next door. So it's simply a matter of approving it. So, any questions on?
I make a motion to approve the
Okay,
Second.
certificate of compliance on 40.
motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, so we'll sign this.
What ends up happening is some lawyer realizes that although there isn't an order of conditions on his client's property, his client has to travel over the road that has the order of conditions on it. So in the
Yeah.
old days, we
Probably on
just
the
write the
deed.
old comfort letter, what the lawyer wanted.
If I understand this correctly, Gene Bartlett still owns the land.
Nope,
And that, it's an accepted public road now, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's a nice
Yeah,
subject.
it's nice though. He did nice work.
Very, not all the houses stick out, they're kind of set back, and it's broken up very well. All right, now I got one more.
So Josh, geographically, where are you now?
Let's see, where
It's right
was
there.
I?
Head to the table.
Well, he's always working
Summer.
in,
Just Somerville. I'm
Still?
working on the green line, yeah.
Lucky you.
That's gonna take a while. It's gonna take 2 years plus. Yeah. I love some of the Mayor Cuomo of New York has said, avoid taking crowded subway cars. It's the only kind there are.
I'm guessing not anymore.
You idiots.
The one I'm keeping is,
Is that making it back down this way? That certificate of compliance?
Didn't you get it? I thought,
I do it.
Rick, you didn't get it,
They
right?
probably have only these, only our signatures.
Looks like it
Oh.
might have disappeared
Yep.
somewhere.
good thing you're on the ball. I screwed this one up though.
Let me do it.
Certificate of compliance.
Oh, right here. 14 days.
Do I have any extra?
I don't know why I'm still hanging on to all these Lakeville Hospital ones. Because there's still property there.
Just can't let it go. 14, what are we right, keeping? 14 days.
Yeah, 14 days. So Bob, I'm good anytime, if you call that guy, I'm
Next
good
week?
anytime.
Okay,
Yeah, give me a call too.
We did things today, right?
I should be available.
yeah, either Monday or
Can I put
Wednesday.
these back in the box?
Yep. All right, also I'm gonna explain this, it's a little bit of housekeeping, and I needed some signatures because, and it's too bad she left early, but this is for Outback. This property has a certificate, or she wants a certificate of compliance because the one that we issued previously was lost, and the only copy they had was a copy, and the Plymouth County won't accept it.
Won't take it, yeah.
So we've got to replace the signature page with
Not the
with
first time
originals.
we've done that.
So, thinking I was really smart, I printed out the form and I signed it and put Lakeville and everything else. But I didn't realize that this was the draft that I gave to Lori to type. And so what do I have here is my handwritten one, which is absolutely no good. So I'm going to ask you at some point in time to come in and donate a signature.
Just shoot us an email when it's ready.
Yes, I will. So I apologize for any inconvenience.
Nancy, did you pick up those newspaper clippings?
No, I didn't go back to the office today. I'll get them.
All right, some business. Old business, 12 Dunbar. If you remember that, it's a tough location because it's a very small lot. It's right up against the bank, and there's always a dispute about the roadway, whether it's part of their driveway. And actually, according to these people, they own the area that the road is on. But anyway, so they've demolished the old residence. They are in the process of putting in the septic system and digging for the foundation now, and we had made it part of the order of conditions that they notify us. So that's why I went out there the other day. It looks good, although the excavation is huge and it's right up against the edge of the bank.
12 Dunbar, is that near where Brant used to live?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Like in relation to Brant's, on the corner, right before the corner there?
I'm not sure just which one is his, but I know it's close by.
Okay. I'm trying to,
It's on the part of the road that doesn't look like a road,
all right.
you know? 'Cause
Okay.
a lot of those roads in there don't look like
So
roads.
it's not on the pond side, it's on the other side?
Yeah, it is on the pond.
It's
It
on
is
the,
on the pond.
it's on the pond side.
Okay.
Yeah, because they dug right up to the bank, he said.
Yeah.
Oh, bank of the pond, okay.
Yeah, I was even nervous just walking on the bank because it was, it was quivering. Well, the excavator was digging, and you want to see some nice material. You should see what's coming out of that hole. It's the purest fine sand, fine to medium sand I've seen, which would be great for the septic system. But so anyway, they're in good shape there, and so they'll be happy.
I was looking at, do you see the perk test results on the 4244 Rhode Island Road,
Right.
Paul Turner thing?
Didn't look at them.
Oh, there were 2 and 3 minute
Oh,
perks
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
were exceptional.
Yeah.
It's funny, because isn't that all Phil?
Oh, no, not that.
No?
That was basically a pasture,
Farmland,
farmland.
until all the autumn olive.
The
grew
autumn
in.
olive, Russian olive grew up in there, yeah. But it was, I mean, you'd think there'd be more over topsoil layer, but there isn't. It's just 2 and 3 minute perks. The worst perk they had was 7 minutes. Which is, people would dream for 7 minutes,
Oh,
you know?
All right, just a couple more. 162 Bedford Street has come back to life. There's some buyers interested in it.
That's the railroad station.
It's the lot adjacent to it, actually.
Oh, different lot, okay.
Right.
Well, if you're facing it from the road, the lot to the right of it is where the house is.
Yeah, so this includes the house and all the land behind it. It's pretty large, it's 27 acres.
Not the train station.
Not the train, not the depot,
okay.
right.
Is that garage part of it?
The barn, yes.
Yeah, all right.
And the property's for sale, obviously, and I don't think anybody's living there now. There's a sign on the door.
Oh,
But anyway, this
okay.
is a couple from Middleborough, and they want to put in a sheep farm.
Yeah, you were telling me that the other day, sheep farm.
Yeah, and they
Isn't
were
that butt up to Clear Pond? No, Clear
No,
Pond would
it's
be
on the
across.
No.
other side of the
On
road.
the other side of the
Butt
road.
up
Clear
to
Pond Road separates.
Lakeville Golf Course? Lakeville,
That's
Country
further
Club?
down, yeah.
I don't think it'd get that far, no.
Yeah. But
Sheep farm, huh?
they were concerned as to whether or not there were any setbacks or additional regulations that govern sheep. And I'm not aware of any, but I just wanted to put it out there in case someone else was.
Well,
Well, good. There's a significant area of upland, but to access the wetland, they probably would have to do
Do a crossing.
a
yeah.
crossing.
Which we'd have to let them do anyway, right?
If they'll have to do an alternatives analysis.
it has to be under 5,000 square feet. We can't condition anything over 5,000 square feet. It goes to DEP.
Yeah,
So
I don't think you'd
depending
have to-
how much fill they have to.
I told Bob, I said, you probably ought to get hold of, we have an agricultural commission in town. And, there are towns around Middleborough and Rochester both have active.
Someone's got to know. Yeah.
Someone's got those regulations. Maybe our wildlife, our animal control people probably got some knowledge of the regulations.
And I would think we'd want them to stay back from. We wouldn't let them come as close as we just let the barn come. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that
we
was
would keep
really
them back from the.
what they were asking.
The only concern Bob mentioned was usually where you gonna put the poop.
The what? Food?
Yeah.
Oh, poop, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do they do with it?
The problem we
Oh,
had-
Yes, I do.
So that's.
What do you do with the poop? I'm just curious.
They stockpile it.
You're
and
supposed to
then-
stockpile it
once
and
it's
remove it
from
annually.
mature, they use it for compost.
Hey, you could sell it.
You can sell it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, it stinks,
It's good stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Not sheep
Smells
poop.
like lamb.
Smells like lamb.
Oh, that's bad. Get anything else on the agenda there?
One more, the
I had
railroad.
one
It's
too.
time for re-upping your certification.
Yes, I know. I was
March
driving by there the other day. I was gonna stop at the office and ask them when the next class was.
March 19th or 20th, you take your pick.
March 19th,
So
20th.
anyone interested in getting recertified
Or-
to ride the rails and to walk.
Your
Oh, you gotta go-
certification on the Coastal Railroad, Massachusetts Coastal Railroad certification.
Wow,
Ben.
it's still
You
good.
get free one of these when you pass the course.
Yeah. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll give them your name.
Yes, sign me up.
What day?
I have one thing too, that we never even mentioned this, but I got subpoenaed again.
Oh, geez.
The first subpoena was the judge was out sick, so they did it on. And I had talked to town council and whatever, it's 332 Bedford Street, is it? It's the house back in the swampish between Savis and the town hall.
Oh, yeah.
The driveway,
You were
Yes.
subpoenaed for what?
yeah. Something to do with not Concom, but somebody didn't pay somebody for the driveway work.
Oh, so it's a lien.
Yeah, but I still,
to enforce
like
it.
Rich said, I should talk to town council, so I did, and then I talked to the other lawyer,
What's that got to do with you?
cause I have to bring, that's what Jamie
She's
said,
the
cause
keeper.
Jamie got
Jamie
subpoenaed
got
too.
subpoenaed too, yeah.
So, but they wanted me to bring the whole file, so Lorraine helped me put the file on a thumb drive, and I called the guy and gave him the information. He had the wrong order of conditions. He had the order of conditions
From before?
from when Louis Gammons wanted to
Put the office building up there?
Yes. So I sent him, I thought if I could send him, because town council says if you can send him everything he needs, maybe
You
you don't
won't
have to
have to
go. But I think I still have to go. But I still sent him everything that I thought he needed, but I still gotta bring the file with me when I go. So it's April 9th, which is great, because I was babysitting that other day and I didn't wanna leave Tommy.
Where is
Holding
that
back.
gonna be? What courthouse?
New Bedford. I've never been to the New Bedford courthouse. Wareham, yes. New Bedford, no. Fall River, yes.
You've been to some of the best courts in,
What does that say about it?
what, yeah, what is that?
Catherine's got jury duty at Brockton Superior coming up shortly.
Yeah, that's always a trip.
She hopes she gets something interesting.
I know they picked me to be the foreman last time I had to go to Brockton. I can't believe, I didn't think they got to pick.
Yeah,
The judge picks now, I guess, who the foreman's gonna be.
I've been 3 times.
Bob, give me those dates for the railroad safety
19th and 20th
of March.
Either or.
of March, yeah, I think it's a Wednesday and a Thursday, or,
I think the 20th is a Friday.
yeah, okay, so it's Thursday and Friday, all right.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
I guess so.
You want, what about the minutes?
Oh,
No?
oops,
Let's
take
do
it
the
back.
Oh,
Okay,
Good idea. Who was,
Has everybody read them?
December 10th?
I read them.
There
I
was
read 'em.
one minor change, and I already notified Laurie a week or so ago, so it's a minor
Okay.
thing to take care of, so.
Okay, anyone else?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from December 10th as amended.
As amended. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
When you see Laura.